Jamie here with another video about the R33. I have great news, my turbo has blown up. Well, it wasn't much of an explosion, rather more of a just slow descent into dysfunction really. The turbo started smoking. In this video, I'm explaining my turbo replacement, talking about a couple other things that have been done to the car, and about my experience at Japanese Motorsport, JMS, a tuning shop in South Australia. This car now has a Kinagawa TD06 SL turbo. It's pushing around 17 pounds of boost. It's been fully tuned with loads of other work done because this thing had some major problems. The old dump pipe was cracked, the old turbo sounded like Morse code, my exhaust manifold had a hairline crack going through it, and overall the car was running incredibly lean. Now, for a guy that was trying to learn manual in this thing when it had a welded diff, heavy duty clutch, running super lean, it was not easy. I opted for the Kinagawa turbo as it's a smaller turbo that provides good low end or sort of low to mid end response. I've ditched the old external wastegate setup, that Apexi, the whole setup going on that you guys would have seen in a previous video is prehistoric, it's ancient, it's very old. So we went for some new technology. This is an oil and water cooled turbo. It's got all new custom lines, went with an advanced headers dump pipe, 3-inch dump pipe, which is all new. The internal wastegate sounds great. I have the paperwork here from JMS. I'll pop up a picture of the dyno graph. Now, as you can see, 250 kilowatts. This car used to push around 275, but I said to Phil, look, I want this to be tuned for reliability. I don't want it to be, I'm not a power chaser. I just want reliability and, a sensible street build. And that's exactly what the car ended up being. It's running really well. It's a good amount of power to play with. Just looking through some of the other things Phil did, there were loads of new fittings that went into the car. He replaced all of the screw clamps with Worth clamps because many of them were very old. He's used locking nuts, he's used new gaskets. We've got OEM Nissan exhaust studs for the manifold. There's a new exhaust manifold because the previous one was cracked. The Kinagawa came with some lines and it's marketed as a bolt-on turbo, but it seemed to be that was anything but the case. The Kinagawa was actually, it needed to be spaced out a little bit. Also, the lines that were provided were way too long, so Phil went in and made custom lines for the oil and water. There were a fair few other things that were done here and there, but overall, it's running so well now. We've got like a boost T so we can control the boost. Phil took really good care with this car. He treated it as if it were his own, and this is not anything crazy special. This is not a GTR, it's a GTST, and still he treated it really well, communicated throughout the whole time, sent me photos of the work that was being done. I've also done a fair bit to the car myself. The water pump needed to be changed, so that has been replaced. The PCV valve was split on the inside, so I replaced it. The grommet, the hose, all of that stuff has been refreshed. I might have mentioned that the car had a welded diff prior, which made it really tough to drive, so I managed to source an R33 R200 differential factory LSD, so I was really pleased with that. Chucked that in. That was a pretty big job on a slanted driveway as one person as well. I had to use 2 jacks to get the diff where it needed to be, but ultimately it worked out. It runs really well with no problems. There's no hopping or squeaking or any strange noises. You might have seen my last All Japan Day video. While I was there, I picked up some Fitment Auto floor mats, which I've been wanting for a while to replace the ugly brown ones. Now, these ones that I got are actually a prototype with platinum stitching around the end. Apparently, Fitment only made one set and they were just sort of giving them a run to see what they looked like, and they looked sick, so I managed to pick them up. Next up on the list is paint. I've been slowly doing a bit of bodywork here and there, filling a couple really small dents or bits of hail damage, and just prepping them for what will come. I'm weighing up whether or not I prep the whole car myself or if I get a painter to do that. I took the car out last night to an invitational meet and it was really fun. Managed to see a lot of sick cars. It's not like your usual Adelaide car meet. It was actually a pretty small group, but it was a really great quality selection of cars, so that was good. Got some good feedback about how the car sounds as well, so thankfully people are appreciating this thing. I just wish it had some good quality paint on it, but ultimately I'm enjoying driving it. That's what matters. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Really appreciate you coming to have a look. Recent ones have done really well, which made me super happy, but of course this one might just flop, so feel free to support it if you want to see the channel grow. I'm trying to grow it slowly. Feel free to consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.